Next up is the Northeast Pavement Preservation Partnership, and Derek Leonard-Plant is going to discuss things from that aspect. He is the asphalt pavement engineer for Maine DOT, which is a job he's had for at least the last 8 years. He's also a registered professional engineer in Maine. So Derek, you're up.
All right, thank you, Jim. Good evening, everyone. I'll try and keep this short and succinct. I don't want to keep anyone from the most important thing of the day, which is the reception. But talk about the Northeast Pavement Preservation Partnership accomplishments and what we're looking to do in the future. Just looking at us at a glance, I have to catch myself. If I say New England, I have to slap my hand because that's what I always kind of think of. But it is the Northeast. We have 12 state agencies and 1 Canadian province, being Nova Scotia, and quite a diverse set of agencies there that we believe our partnership has some unique challenges and advantages to enacting pavement preservation. A couple of our accomplishments, being very active in recent years, even in the face of travel is sometimes an issue. We have a couple agencies that couldn't make it to this meeting, but we still have a very active board of directors and membership. We continue efforts on 3 major areas for which we have task forces. State specification databases for treatments, project databases being successful treatments, and then research efforts that we all agree are worth investigating. Some of our more specific accomplishments in the recent time frame is our latest meeting was in Delaware, at which we held a Sharp 2 R26 workshop in conjunction with the meeting as to try and bring all the players together, sit in the same room and discuss that particular project and how it impacts us. We also, as a partnership, submitted our comments on the proposed performance measures of MAP 21 together, being that, again, we have a lot of similarities. We were able to bounce things off one another. Again, increased participation by state agencies in recent years has been a real positive. As well as, I think one of the 2 things that we're proud of in the last year is that we had an idea to use available funding that the partnership had to contribute to FP2 and Minroad and NCAT, the Pavement Preservation Research Program. And I believe we were the first partnership to do that. We feel it's well worth our contribution and to be able to be involved in the experiment as it's going to impact all of our agencies. And then finally, we again use some of our capital that we had built up to sponsor a 3rd attendee for each agency to this meeting. Feeling that, as many have already said up at this podium, this meeting is a great opportunity. All you got to do is look at the agenda and see all the information. Getting a 3rd person that often hasn't been able to come before because of state travel restrictions and paying for that attendee gets more exposure, more people potentially becoming board members, more involvement in moving that forward. So that's something that we hope to maybe continue going forward, maybe even to our partnership meetings. And then a lot of our accomplishments, in I view, are somewhat intangible and can't be measured. I believe before this partnership, if we had a question on treatment that Vermont was doing, I didn't know who to talk to. We didn't know what Vermont was doing. We talked more to each other in between the meetings, not necessarily in an official NEPPP capacity, but hey, has anyone seen this? As you look at the Northeast, we're smaller states, but we're all, I believe Maryland's report had something that the 9 most dense states in population, 9 of 10, are in the Northeast, in our partnership. So it's something that we all share, Maine not included, but we'll throw that out there. We're kind of up in the north there. But we're able to have a good group and just collaborate together because although we have state lines in between us, we have contractors that we all share, we have suppliers that we all share. Why can't our specs be more the same? Why can't industry expect us to be more similar across those lines. I think in that area it's hard to measure, but I believe that is a huge benefit that we've had in recent years. One example I can cite is ultra-thin bonded overlays or bonded wearing course, whatever you want to call it. We had some agencies that had done it more than others, and now it's expanding to other agencies. And I know from experience, we can go to our management and say, they always ask, who else is doing this? We never want to be the first to do anything, just in case it goes bad, but is anyone else doing this? And we can cite the other agencies that we know that kind of help us get over those baby steps and not go into those pitfalls. So I can cite many examples of different treatments that some agencies are further ahead than others, and it just helps those along. So it's not easy to measure, but I think that is a huge benefit that we've seen in recent years. Our future. We did the survey as the other partnerships and tried to identify our high priority initiatives going forward. And I invite you to come to our second meeting on Friday morning where we're going to discuss this. But what was identified is agency treatment data collection. How are each agencies doing it, and why do they have to be different? How can they line up? What have others learned? Training opportunities. Again, if you look geographically at the Northeast, we have a lot of contractors, a lot of resources that span those lines, and they are not hard walls that you got to go jump over into another state. As well as increasing participation in the partnership. The Northeast doesn't have as much of the county government, but more of these cities and towns, trying to get them involved in our meetings, plugged in. Again, continued communication regarding MAP 21 implementation. Those are the big things that we're looking at going forward. And I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize the board of directors. This is out of date as of 6 hours ago. But either way, we have an excellent group of board of directors that we're communicating all the time. It makes it a lot easier to get our communication done. And again, I think one of the big things is that just having that continued interaction with other agencies and industry as well, because having industry at the table with all these different states, to be honest, to point out, as they pointed out before, that you have 3 agencies that border one another and we all do it completely different. There may not be a good reason for it, but to identify those things as well. And I'll throw in the plug since it's in my home state. But our next meeting, we have them in the spring. So save the date if you are interested. The next Northeast Pavement Preservation Partnership meeting will be in beautiful Portland, Maine in May. I'm pretty sure the snow will be gone by then, but no promises. Hopefully it'll look like that. But we always have pretty excellent meetings, and we'd like to see new people always. So with that, I'll take any questions, short and sweet, but no questions. It's a good job, Nancy.